Today we're going to try to make a sofa for under $100. For the frame of the sofa, I'm using 2x10s, 2x4s, and some deck screws. The only power tools I'm going to need for this project are a cordless drill, a circular saw, and an orbital sander. I ordered the foam online. You can find a link to the company that I used in the description section below. Now, the foam comes rolled up really tight, so I had to open it up right away so that it had some time to expand to its full shape. I cut the 2x10s and the 2x4s to the appropriate lengths. You can find all the dimensions and drawings for this project on my website. The legs for the sofa are made out of 2 pieces of 2x10, but I have to cut some notches in them so that I can put the 2x4s in to make a nice frame to support the seat cushion. I'm going to cut these notches by setting the blade on my circular saw to the maximum depth, and then making a series of cuts through both of the clamped together boards. Now these notches are nice and straight, but they're not quite deep enough for the full 2x4s to sit in them. So I'm going to use my drill and a chisel and hammer to do the rest. Now that all the pieces are cut, I'm going to sand them all down before I assemble using my orbital sander. I'm going to use deck screws to screw together the pieces of 2x4 into an inner frame that's going to go between the 2x10s that I'm using as legs. In order to prevent the 2x4s from splitting, I pre-drilled holes in the ends before driving the screws through. I then assembled the base for the sofa around this inner frame. Now I had to use a mallet to kind of get all the pieces in place, but it was great because they were nice and tight, and so they actually held together without clamps, which made it easier for me to screw them together. After checking to make sure everything was centered, I then screwed on the boards that would support the seat cushion onto the base of the sofa. I'm going to make supports for the backrest of the sofa by screwing 3 pieces of 2x4 together. Now I'm going to screw them in such a way so that the fewest amount of screws show from the outside of the sofa. I then screwed the 2x10 that I'm going to use as the backrest to these 2 supports after checking to make sure it was properly centered. The 2x10 legs for the sofa go right in between the 2 2x4s in each one of the back supports. I then adjusted the backrest to an appropriate angle before screwing it into place. Now I'm going to use bungee cords to hold the covering on the sofa cushion in place. So I drilled some holes through the 2x4s in the base of the sofa. I took an old blanket that I had lying around and I cut it in half, and I just wrapped that around the cushions, and then I used bungee cords to secure everything in place. Now this is a great easy way to make an upholstered covered cushion. Not really that good at sewing, so this way is super fast, and what I really like about it, it makes it really easy to take the covering off and just throw it in the laundry machine when you need to clean it. And if you want to save a little bit more money, you don't have to use long bungee cords. You can actually use really short, cheap bungee cords and then use string. And I chose a nice string to give it a little bit of a color accent. I also experimented with different blankets to use as coverings. This fleece was nice because it had a little bit of length to it, which kind of hides and conceals some of the wrinkles and the ropes. But the blue furriness, it kind of make it look like it was something out of Monsters, Inc. So we went back to the gray blanket with the pink strings. Now this isn't the most refined piece of furniture that I've ever made, but it's really comfortable. We made it for under $100 worth of materials. It's relatively easy to make, and I think it'd be great for college students or anyone that's really hard on their furniture because it's so easy to take the cover off and just throw it in the wash. For more detailed instructions, be sure to check out my website. If you want to see what I'm working on next, follow me on Instagram. And be sure to check out Ryobi Nation. They have tons of great DIY project how-tos. You can actually post your own work up onto the website. And if you're a beginner and aren't really sure about using power tools, they have a great Tools 101 series that shows you how to safely use the exact same tools I use. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already.